Welcome. Take a slow breath and allow yourself to become still for a moment. This space is not merely a place of listening, it is a threshold, a quiet doorway between ordinary understanding and living spiritual insight. Today I invite you into the inner field of a book that is not meant to inform the mind alone, but to awaken discernment, responsibility, and conscious participation in the great process of spiritual evolution. This work is a companion for those who walk the path seriously, not romantically, not naively, but consciously. It speaks about life as it truly unfolds for a seeker, complex, demanding, luminous, and deeply transformative. Let us gently enter its living essence. The deeper purpose of this book is guidance in the real conditions of spiritual development. Many teachings speak about light, bliss, unity, or enlightenment, but fewer speak about orientation, discernment, balance, and the invisible forces that shape the path itself. This book does. It reveals that spiritual development is not a dreamlike ascent, but a process that requires clarity of perception, ethical maturity, psychological stability, and alignment with divine law. The path is described not as a wide and comfortable road, but as something precise, like a fine line above an abyss. One must walk consciously, carefully, and with inner balance. This is not meant to create fear, it is meant to awaken responsibility. True spiritual development demands awareness of illusion, misunderstanding, ego, inflation, and imbalance, both in oneself and in the spiritual environment surrounding us. The book invites the seeker to develop inner discrimination, to recognize truth from distortion, light from imitation, wisdom from fantasy. This alone is already initiation. At the heart of the teachings lies a central spiritual theme, alignment with divine law as the foundation of transformation. Spiritual growth is not simply the accumulation of techniques or experiences. It is the gradual harmonization of the human being with the deeper structure of creation itself. Everything in existence moves toward balance, completeness, saturation, and fulfillment. The entire universe evolves toward equilibrium, toward unity with its divine origin. Human life participates in this movement. Every desire, every search, every struggle is at its root an attempt to restore balance where imbalance is felt. The seeker gradually discovers that true fulfillment does not arise from external acquisition, but from inner saturation, a state in which nothing essential is missing. From this state, freedom emerges naturally. When one is inwardly complete, one is no longer driven blindly by desire. One acts consciously, intentionally, responsibly. And this is mastery. The initiatory path described in this book unfolds through increasing awareness of cause and effect, of karma, intention, and energetic influence. The seeker begins to understand that life is not random. Thoughts plant seeds, intentions generate movement, emotions carry power, attention directs energy. Planning, visualization, prayer, meditation, mantra, and conscious imagination are not merely psychological exercises. They are acts of subtle creation. To envision clearly, to charge intention with emotion, to repeat a principle with focused awareness, is to participate consciously in manifestation. The book repeatedly reveals a profound truth. That which is clearly conceived in its completed form begins to shape reality from the invisible planes downward. In this sense, life itself becomes a magical process. not in the sense of fantasy, but in the sense of lawful energetic causation. The seeker becomes responsible not only for actions, but for inner orientation. Another essential dimension of the teachings is ethical maturity. Spiritual power without moral clarity leads to distortion. The book emphasizes compassion, responsibility, and alignment with universal love as non-negotiable foundations of real development. It rejects the illusion that one can move beyond good and evil in a way that removes responsibility. Divine law remains active at all levels. Every intention bears consequences. Freedom grows in proportion to inner refinement, never in separation from it. This understanding stabilizes the path and protects the seeker from self-deception. Alongside philosophical depth, the book offers many practical approaches. Meditative methods for charging intention, techniques of autosuggestion and subconscious influence, mantra practice as a way of connecting with spiritual archetypes, healing through subtle energy and alignment, karma yoga as conscious service, concentration and imagination training, energetic investment in desired qualities of life, introspection and self-refinement. These are not presented as isolated tools, but as expressions of a unified spiritual science. Each practice refines awareness. Each strengthens inner coherence. Each brings the seeker closer to conscious participation in divine order. What inner experiences may unfold through these teachings? At first, increased clarity. One begins to perceive the structure behind events, the logic behind challenges, the purpose within limitation. Then responsibility deepens. Life is no longer something that happens to you. It becomes something you co-create through awareness and alignment. Gradually, inner stability grows, emotional turbulence decreases, motivation becomes more refined. Intuition becomes more reliable. Eventually, the seeker senses a growing connection to a deeper field of intelligence, a silent guidance that arises not from external authority, but from inner attunement to universal consciousness. This is the beginning of true spiritual independence. Why are these teachings so relevant today? Because modern humanity possesses enormous technical power, but insufficient inner orientation. We can manipulate matter, but often do not understand consciousness. We can accelerate production, but not always meaning. We can accumulate wealth, but remain inwardly unsatisfied. The imbalance between external capability and internal maturity is one of the central tensions of our time. This book addresses precisely this imbalance. It restores the forgotten knowledge that inner development is not optional for a harmonious civilization, but essential. Without inner refinement, power destabilizes. With inner refinement, power becomes service. Who is this book for? For the sincere seeker who no longer wants vague inspiration but real orientation. For those who sense that spiritual development must be lived, practiced, embodied. For those willing to examine themselves honestly. For practitioners who want to integrate psychology, energetic work, meditation, ethics, and metaphysical understanding into one coherent path. For individuals who feel that awakening is not escape from life, but conscious participation in it. Ultimately, this work supports awakening by restoring coherence. It reconnects intention with responsibility, practice with understanding, power with love, individual effort with divine law. It leads the seeker toward inner mastery not through dramatic experiences, but through steady refinement, balanced development, and alignment with the deeper intelligence of existence. This is conscious evolution. If you feel resonance with these teachings, then do not remain only at the level of listening. Enter the work directly. Read the book slowly, reflectively, allowing its principles to reorganize your perception of life. Receive deeper initiatory training through structured practice and guidance. Walk the path not alone, but in conscious community. If your heart calls you, continue your development within the living stream of spiritual work. You are welcome to study more deeply, to practice more consciously, and to walk further into inner mastery through four mystics, and within the spiritual training of Ordo Mysticus. The path is open. Walk it with awareness, with sincerity, and with love. Love, light, and service. I am Ray del Sol.